Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be starting the program very shortly, so do make your way to your seats so that we can begin. We look forward to seeing you in a little while. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. A very good afternoon to all of you. How are we doing today? Good, yes! So wonderful to see all of you. It's so nice to be in a room with people and then live performances. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? Okay, so before we start the event proper, we would just to do some housekeeping. So first, we would like to request that you keep your mask on at all times, okay? I don't have one on, but I will keep far, far away from you, all right? So keep your mask on at all times. And also, this show will be live streamed on the National Arts Council's Facebook as well as YouTube pages. And we also have live performances, so may I ask that we all switch our phones or beeping devices to silent mode, all right? And then we have our washrooms located outside in the aisles, so in the hall. So if you want to go to the washrooms, just approach any of our ushers on the aisles and they'll be more than happy to bring you there. Later on, we're going to have a light performance. So to our event photographers, just a reminder to not use any flash photography during that light performance, all right? All right, and now we start. All right, I would like to say a very warm welcome to our guest of honor, Mr. Edwin Tong, Minister of Culture, Community and Youth, and Second Minister of Law, and also to Minister of State, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, and Ministry of Trade and Information, Ms. Lo Yen Ling, to our Chairman of the National Arts Council, Ms. Goh Swee Chen, and to our Chairman, sorry about that. It's been a while since I've been on stage as well. And to our Chief Executive Officer, National Arts Council, Mrs. Rosa Daniel. And to all of you, our supporters and patrons of the arts, those here in person as well as those joining us from home online, hello, a very warm welcome to the 38th Patron of the Arts Awards. Now, my name is Unshu Ann, and it is such a huge honor to be here with you today. The last time I was doing this, it was in 2016, and wow, things have changed since then, haven't they? It goes without saying that it has been a difficult year, and it has also been a difficult year for the artists and the arts organizations. And that means that your unwavering support, your continued support, has been even more invaluable during this time. Amidst a global pandemic, we have witnessed the indomitable spirit of our artists. We have witnessed the generosity of our patrons. And you have stepped in to provide the resources to help the Singapore arts community emerge stronger. And so for that, thank you very much. It is very apt that the theme of this year's Patron of the Arts Awards is New Inspirations. The theme speaks to the way artists are constantly evolving and forging new creative pathways, and how change, diversity, and challenge are the bedrock of artistic innovation. And also, it celebrates each and every one of you. The unwavering support during these times, you help to make this work possible. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, a very warm welcome to the Patron of the Arts Awards 2021.
When I design, I create beauty. When I speak, I command the masses. When I adjust, I find comfort in symmetry. When I analyze, I display precision. When I conduct, I feed the soul. When we enjoy, when we invest, when we reach out, when we give, dreams come true.
What a brilliant opening to the Patron of the Arts Awards 2021! Our opening performers, everybody, well done! So incredible! It's really so nice to be energized by performers on stage once again. And thank you. You know what, I must say, for a very small crowd, you guys clap really loudly. So thank you for that. I'm sure that they all appreciate it. Okay, so let me just share with you a little bit about what you just watched. Our artistic director for this afternoon's program is Ryan Tan, and he was also the director of our first video called Part. It is called Part because art is a part of all of us. Regardless of profession, regardless of background, it is something that all of us can relate to. It makes us feel, it makes us think, and it's just such an incredible part of all of our lives. And then we moved on to the meditative, transportative, and enchanting, dazzling light performance by our cutting-edge artist, Lawrence Koh. And he was accompanied by the Asian Cultural Symphony Orchestra performing Winds of Affinity. Now, this was composed by Mr. Wang Chenwei, who is the composer in residence with the Singapore Chinese Orchestra and also the head of education and research at the Teng Company. And then we had some new moves by the Royal Dance Off. So they are one of Singapore's boldest and quirkiest contemporary dance companies. And we had some eye-popping LED multimedia graphics and very cleverly blended with traditional Malay drum rhythms. And that was courtesy of one of Singapore's most effusive percussionists, Ridwan Zilani. Once again, let's give a huge round of applause to all of our opening performers. I would now like to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Edwin Tong, Minister of Culture, Community and Youth, and Second Minister of Law, to give our welcome address. Mr. Tong, please.
Thank you very much. Ms. Goh Swee Chen, Chair of the National Arts Council, patrons, supporters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Very happy to join you here today at the 30th Patron of the Arts Awards, albeit virtually. Very sorry that I can't be with you in person. Let me explain why. A few days ago, I was told by the healthcare professional who had swabbed me in a series of COVID tests since I returned from Tokyo that he himself had tested positive. So I'm now in isolation. I've been looking forward to being present at these awards, but really such are the times that we're living in now. Nothing can ever be fully predicted. And I want to thank my colleague, MOS Low, for stepping in to be there with you and give out the awards. I've been at MCCY for slightly over a year now, and really one of my personal highlights in this portfolio is that I get to experience firsthand the remarkable diversity and the rich vibrancy of the art scene in Singapore. And over the last year, I've had the privilege of meeting many, sharing a coffee or two with many Cultural Medallion and Young Artist Award recipients, local theatre and music and dance groups, arts organizations, art gallerists, writers, educators, musicians, painters, many of them, freelancers as well. Quite naturally, a lot of our discussions centered around the immediate COVID-19 situation, its profound impact on all of us, and also what we can do looking further ahead, how we can better prepare ourselves for a post-COVID-19 world. The arts, I think all of us know, is really a platform which relies heavily on the discourse and also the interaction between artists and audience. It is something, however, that we've not been able to do in the same way as before. But in my conversations, I've seen the resilience of the arts community. I saw for myself, firsthand, their passion for their craft, heard many determined aspirations for the arts landscape in Singapore. There are also many constructive suggestions which came to me, some of which form the backdrop to what I'll be speaking on this afternoon. One common theme which emerged from these conversations was how the arts in Singapore has come a long way over the past few decades and how we have evolved. Today, we have a strong, vibrant arts community, one that spans across different generations, different and unique artistic traditions, and diverse arts and cultural backgrounds. One that is involved in a wide range of art forms, from the traditional to the modern, across different genres, and increasingly even cross-genres. One where each individual, all of our artists, play different roles, including as practitioners, educators, administrators, and fundraisers. And one which I believe strengthens relationships, deepens engagement with a growing base of patrons, all of you, supporters, and of course with our audiences and visitors to our cultural offerings. Over the years, Singapore has also successfully established high quality and, I must say, internationally regarded cultural institutions such as the Esplanade, the National Gallery of Singapore, and together with highly respected educational institutions like the School of the Arts, SOTA, Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, NAFA, LaSalle College of the Arts, and the Yong Siew Toh Conservatory of Music. All of these moves would not have been possible without the hard work and the sheer courage of conviction of the arts community, our arts patrons, and our policymakers. Indeed, this partnership between the arts fraternity, patrons, and government, including an annual spend on arts and culture amounting to about 450 million annually since 2013, is bearing fruit. What I consider priceless, however, is the progress that we have made in strengthening the role of the arts as an anchor to our distinctive Singaporean identity, fostering cross-generational links to our own heritage, and deepening the foundations of our unique culture to inspire, motivate, and uplift Singaporeans. In my mind, there is no doubt that local arts and culture are essential to our society, essential to nation building, and will continue to be so, probably increasingly so. It is a valued weave which binds each of us together, making up our Singapore tapestry. Another theme which has been brought up on occasion in my discussions with the arts community and with MCCY and NAC was a palpable sense that we, collectively, as a Singaporean arts community, are now at an important inflection point. Let me explain. Up till COVID-19, the arts in Singapore had been on a fairly healthy and positive trajectory. The scene was exciting and burgeoning, with new diverse talents coming to the fore. On the international stage, our artists, and also Singapore as a whole, have been gaining increasing recognition at key festivals, biennales, and art fairs. Domestically, donations from the private sector, coupled with a dollar-for-dollar matching of the Cultural Matching Fund, has strongly supported the arts and heritage sector with close to 650 million since the inception of CMF in 2014. In 2019, as one indicator of measure, 69% of Singaporeans attended arts and culture events, 75% consume arts through digital media, and 82% felt that the arts fostered a greater sense of belonging. Then came COVID-19, which battered and railroaded the arts sector all over the world. It has been tough, and of course, we all know we are not out of the woods yet by any stretch. And I acknowledge just how difficult it has been for so many of our artists. But at the same time, it heartens me that Singapore has largely been able to preserve our arts and culture capabilities, even through this very difficult time. Since the start of the pandemic, NAC has been instrumental as a strong advocate for the arts community. They have worked, often behind the scenes, on COVID-19 safe management and support measures, including the 75 million Arts and Culture Resilience Package, the ACRP. And I must say also that unlike many other countries where orchestras and museums, for example, have let go of, or at least furloughed their staff, we've not had to do so in our major cultural institutions. Many of the organizations which form the bedrock of our arts ecosystem, such as NAC's major companies, have remained steadfast and resilient. In no small way, this has been to the continued generosity of patrons such as yourselves, from the support of the general public, as well as the government support through initiatives like ACRP and others. Our arts freelancers and SCPs have also been hard-pressed. NAC's Art Resource Hub, ARH, organized COVID-19 recovery grant engagement sessions and clinics with MSF, shared advice, supported SCPs through its Ask NAC sessions, and co-organized a career fair with E2I for the arts and creative sector. Through ACRP and other targeted schemes, NAC has also generated about 12,000 work and training opportunities for arts groups and SCPs. Each of these steps and more help to preserve the core of our arts talent. In the same vein, many of our longer-term plans remain afoot and remain in place. For example, we announced plans earlier this year to establish a new University of the Arts through an alliance between NAFA and LaSalle. Our infrastructure projects, such as the new Esplanade Waterfront Theatre, are still proceeding, as are our plans to upgrade existing arts housing spaces, such as 45 Armenian Street. We've also continued to invest strongly in local talent, such as through the annual NAC Arts Scholarship. This year, in fact, just a few weeks ago, our scholars, we sent them off overseas, to Goldsmith, to Berklee College of Music, to the Royal College of Music, and many other top-tier institutions, they will return to add to the rich diversity of art talent in Singapore. And throughout this time, we continued to make arts accessible to Singaporeans, even as we were encouraged to stay at home, be safe. We launched the SG Culture Anywhere campaign, which brought arts content into digital formats. A very important reason for all of the above has been the unstinting commitment to the arts in Singapore by our private sector patrons and supporters. Each of you, all of you, have not wavered throughout the pandemic, and I want to thank you all very much for this. But to go back to my earlier comment, that we are at a point of inflection. Where do we go from here? This year, NAC celebrates its 30th anniversary. As it does so, I think it is timely for the government, the arts community, and our partners to think deeply and reflect about what we want our arts landscape to look like as we enter the next decade and beyond, whether with COVID-19 or otherwise. So let me share some of the more immediate moves which we will be making over the course of the next year to set us on this course. A couple of points. First, increasingly, Singapore society will become more diverse and more complex as it matures. This is not a bad thing. We will always continue to be a small but open society, continually exposed to ideas, influences, and trends from other parts of the world. We will, as a society, need to navigate the geopolitical, the economic, and cultural landscape very carefully, keeping in mind our own local context, where we are sui generis in many ways, and our own core values as a meritocratic, multicultural society. Our arts will, and I think indeed it must, continue to reflect a strong, distinctive Singaporean identity, whilst always remaining open and outward-looking. The launch of the showcase on Singapore's Cultural Medallion recipients at the Arts House later this year will be one clear step in this direction, where we raise our collective awareness of Singaporean art and of Singaporeans whose artistic excellence, contribution, and commitment have deeply enriched our arts and culture landscape. This gallery is an invitation to all to learn about our cultural icons and their artistic practice through interactive and also informative digital components. NAC is also working with the National Library Board on a national digital repository of cultural medallion works. At the same time, the government, the arts community, and other stakeholders in the broader society must, more than ever, work closer together to foster a shared sense of vision and direction, all pulling in the same direction. And this starts, I believe, with having a better appreciation of our respective aspirations, our interests, and also sensitivities. We want to nurture a deeper understanding between different segments of the arts community, build up mutual trust, and forge a stronger compact. As an immediate step, NAC will consult broadly and deeply for the next iteration of the arts plan, engaging more than 1,000 persons across the arts community, business and social sectors, public agencies, and all community stakeholders. In the first phase, NAC has already conducted 60 deep dive conversations with thought leaders. I think the message was very clear. The arts play a prolific, profound role in society. And this also encompasses how the arts reflect and express and allows us to express our national identity, how it creates common spaces to strengthen community bonds, engender a creative economy, and also enliven the city where we work, live, and play. So over the next few months, NAC will be hosting broader public engagements to gather views and test ideas. These engagements will be candid and constructive, and will form the basis of our blueprint and vision for the future of arts and culture sector. I invite all of you to join us, share your views, and together write a new chapter. Second, we will do more to have the arts thrive as a key part of our future economy and provide meaningful careers for those who choose to join the arts sector and for whom the arts is a source of their livelihoods. For this to happen, we have to start by making the economics work. Global cultural hubs such as London, New York, Paris, Beijing, Tokyo, Seoul, and Taipei in Asia are well supported by sophisticated value chains, which includes government funding, philanthropic support, and also a competitive business model and landscape. In Singapore, the government will continue to provide strong support for the arts, but we will need more hands on deck if we are to have higher ambitions. Cultural philanthropy already plays a crucial role in the development and coming of age of our local art scene. Throughout our short history, the arts in Singapore has benefited deeply from the generosity of patrons like yourselves. As early as the 1940s and 1950s, our pioneer artists like Chong Su Ping, Chen Wen-si, Chen Chong-Chui, Liu Kang, and of course Georgette Chen could thrive because they were well supported by many factors. These early patrons include very familiar names like Datuk Lo Wan To, Tan Zi Chaw, Frank Sullivan, and Malcolm MacDonald, to name a few. Today, our cultural philanthropy landscape has evolved to more than just providing monetary support. Industry expertise, specialist advice and assistance from companies and experts have also become key pillars of support. So, for example, Accenture collaborated with National Gallery Singapore as its innovation partner to introduce Adopt Now, an art adoption program powered by blockchain crowdfunding, while StoreHub self-storage opened storage facilities to theatre companies. Mapletree Investments also stepped up to support over the past year, recognizing the vitality of the arts in placemaking. At this Patron of the Arts Award, let me take the opportunity to recognize many of our benefactors in the Singapore arts scene. 264 individuals and corporations stood by our artists, arts groups, and cultural institutions in a difficult last year. I thank all of you here today for choosing to give so generously to the arts. Your contributions allow us to invest in the future of our artists, our audiences, and our art spaces. And these include Pierre and Bolo Laurinet's donations to NEC's Sustain the Arts Start Fund to help smaller arts groups develop organizational capabilities. Singtel's commitment to Esplanade's new waterfront theatre. UOB's recent contribution to the Business Times Budding Artists Fund, which gave 993 children and youths from disadvantaged backgrounds access to visual arts programs. I hope we can continue to explore even more ways to grow this partnership between patrons and the arts community and offer your business experience and domain knowledge in areas like finance, marketing, legal, and governance, all of which will be relevant not only to supporting our arts, but also in fortifying the arts economy in Singapore. Next, we will also redouble efforts to promote experimentation and innovation in the arts. We want to encourage new forms of art creation, of presentation, and also engagement with existing and new audiences, part of our hope that everyone has equal access to the arts. One important issue which we need to address is that of space, which is important for arts practitioners to experiment, to innovate, incubate, and create works that can connect with audiences. In many of my coffee chats and informal meetings with arts practitioners, one common theme was, of course, the need for more of such spaces for experiment and incubation. And these spaces give an opportunity for young, budding, nascent talent to tinker around, to incubate, to experiment, eventually to break through, gain recognition, and eventually gain a foothold in the sector. So on this issue, we will take a few immediate steps. First, NEC will set up varied incubatory spaces to complement the existing arts housing spaces. The Arts Resource Hub will offer revitalized spaces at 42 Waterloo Street in the last quarter of 2021 for practitioners to network, to trial new ideas, and share best practices on digital and technology tools. Second, NEC has partnered with the Singapore Land Authority, SLA, to work on setting up pilot arts sandboxes in Kampong Java. We looked around and we have identified what we think is a really nice site for this. We will initiate this project early next year to canvass ideas and views from the community and then do some retrofitting of the premises so that arts groups can use the spaces well. We are aiming for the space to host multidisciplinary artists and give them an affordable space to focus on their experimental and creative processes. But beyond hard infrastructure, NEC will also explore greenfield projects with public agencies and the private sector to tap on their networks, expertise, and schemes. So, for example, we had recently put out a joint STB-NEC Performing Arts Tours pilot grant to support the development and test bidding of innovative performing arts tours by tour operators and arts practitioners. This will help some of our arts groups develop sustainable revenue streams in the longer term. We expect technology to be increasingly prevalent, so we must be ready to harness its power in the way we create, convey, and consume the arts. Finally, we need to embrace the changes which COVID-19 has really thrust and foisted upon us. We can't go back to what it was like before. All of us have had our own lived experiences, I'm sure, over the past year and a half or so. The pandemic has fundamentally altered our operating assumptions, our operating environment and made us question the familiar, tried and tested. Indeed, I think you all will agree that there is not much that is tried and tested in this COVID-19 world. But at the same time, amidst the challenges, we have also seized opportunities. Many of our artists have rallied together to help one another, share resources, come together, put up performances and presentations together. Many arts groups have done so on various platforms. NAC consulted extensively with the arts community on the architecture of the self-employed person, or the SCP grant, and the Organization Transformation Grant, the OTG, to give immediate assistance, but also to drive change and transformation, to look at the here and now and solve the problems, but also to look ahead and see what we should be doing to position ourselves. To date, we have supported more than 100 projects for the SCP grant and over 30 for the OTG, Organization Transformation Grant. These have been very encouraging, and we're also happy to see the arts community already using these grants in very innovative ways. Through the SCP grant, David Xiao organized the Singapore Showcase at ASEAN Music Showcase Festival 2021, which featured Singaporean musicians performing on a regional stage and marketplace, and created opportunities for SCPs to work, to network, and of course expand their presence. The Props Collective is looking to provide a centralized props storage warehouse solution for all theatre companies through the OTG. This will help companies build connections, harness and share experiences and resources to reduce the cost of art making. All of this, I believe, bodes well for innovation in creation and presentation. Of course, I know that many of us, me included, audiences and artists alike, would like to be back in concert halls and theatres, not just for the better acoustics and comfortable seats as what you're all sitting in now, but also to imbibe and appreciate art in the company of fellow arts lovers. But the fact is, there have been extensive changes in how it's created and how art is consumed, and that's not likely to change. So for instance, over the past year, Singaporeans could sit in the comfort of our own living rooms and access virtual tours of the Louvre Museum in Paris, and also stream national theatre performances. Our own arts groups were also quick to adapt in reaching out and engaging new fans online. We could watch Namhua Chinese opera on Facebook, catch live streams of Esplanade's programs, listen to the Singapore Symphony Orchestra on Spotify. The stage might not always be just that platform in front of you now. And many of us would also have tuned in to Jeremy Montero's ad hoc evening concerts, which he always puts up to such great aplomb. I know Jeremy is in the audience today, so thank you very much, Jeremy, for continually entertaining us, often with a colourful hat to boot as well. But the point I'm making is that these shifts and changes are here to stay. And so we have to be adaptive, innovative, and also opportunistic to harness the upsides in the digitalization of the arts and international platforms for artists to share and grow their works. We are likely to see more collaborative, inclusive co-creation amongst artists, partners, and the community, and new forms of presentation that transcend dedicated art spaces. We will actively look into and study these new trends to prepare the arts and culture sector for the future. Earlier this year, my colleague Yen Ling announced that we will work on an arts and culture digital roadmap to guide arts and culture organizations in their own journey. And I'm very pleased to say that this roadmap will be available in the coming months, and I encourage all of you to look out for it. So let me now conclude. The NAC, the arts community, and various other stakeholders are deeply invested in the success of the arts and will have our work cut out for us over the next few years. I'm sure of that. We will have to navigate this inflection point with care, but at the same time, we must have a clear eye on our vision and direction. But at the same time, we've had very firm foundations on which to build our arts ecosystem. We have been able to stand on the shoulders of all those who came before us. The bright and evolving art scene we have today is the product and culmination of many years of hard work, prescient vision, and unshakable conviction of the many arts stalwarts. Each of you have left an indelible mark on the face of the arts in Singapore and built it up to what we have today. This is a legacy we have inherited and one which we must continue to steward. So in closing, let me express my heartfelt appreciation to 30 years of past and present NAC chairmen, council members, management and staff of NAC for your single-minded, unstinting drive to make Singapore truly a global city for the arts, and making the arts an integral part of Singaporeans' lives. I also thank the arts community for being with us on this journey, for your dedication to the pursuit of artistic excellence, pushing the boundaries and always challenging the assumptions in a way that benefits Singapore and our society. Your efforts have culminated in the vibrancy of our art scene today as you showcase your talent, amaze audiences, and indeed fly our flag high at international festivals and biennales. We are extremely proud of all of you. And finally, to our patrons of the arts, whom we have gathered here today to celebrate, thank you once again for your continued generosity and support for the arts in Singapore. Thank you very much, all of you. Have a wonderful event ahead of you and also a good weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for that inspiring, insightful, and encouraging speech. Truly remarkable that we are celebrating 30 years of arts and culture with the National Arts Council. So our next video is entitled Voices from Us. This is a video from all our arts beneficiaries, and let's see what they have to say.
Patron of Arts Award
2021.
We just want to say a big thank you for your generous support.
谢谢支持南华潮剧社，我们会继续努力，谢谢您。
谢谢大家对传统艺术的支持。
In these uncertain times, we continue to strive to bring the arts to many Singaporeans from different walks of life.
It was a tough and difficult time for everybody, but you stand firm to support us.
Without your solidarity and support, Pandemonium would not have been able to continue to bring the stories to the stage.
Peng has been hard hit by the current pandemic, but it is with your support that kept us going during this very difficult period.
We would never have been able to do all the productions that we've done last year.
那么希望以后我们大家一起努力，推动我们新加坡传统戏曲艺术的蓬勃发展。
Thank you all patrons for your support, which had given me an opportunity to further my craft overseas in the United States, as well as for events back home such as the Lion City Youth Jazz Festival to take place.
您的赞助更加显得珍贵。
Thank you very much. We have been able to continue the things that we want to do because of your support.
Thank you for the support. We need the arts even more so in these difficult times.
唐文化传播非常感谢您的支持和慷慨的赞助。
Extremely grateful that you have stood by us and you have continued to support us. So thank you, keep safe, and we hope to see you back in the theatre soon.
We just want to say a big thank you for your generous support.
有你们的支持，我们才可以进行我们的活动。谢谢。
National Gallery recognize our donors, and we simply could not have done it without you and your support. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much for your steady and continuing support privately and also in partnership with institutions like the Yong Siu To Conservatory of Music.
And from everyone at LaSalle College of the Arts, I just want to say that we may not be able to tell you thank you every single day, but the impact of your giving is felt every single day by our students.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. I don't think that can be said enough. As you can see, the impact of arts patronage in Singapore, the reach, the many different arts organizations, the variety of the arts organizations and the artists that you have impacted, it makes such a huge difference. Your belief in the power of the arts, combined with your generous support of the arts, has given these beneficiaries a way forward, and no doubt you have seeded great work, groundbreaking work to come in the few years to come. Now for the next performance, get ready for a stunning visual and oral treat as traditional Carnatic music is given a new sound. So this performance is brought to you by Ms. Sushma Soma. She is the NAC Young Artist Award recipient in 2020, and she will be accompanied by percussionist Lalit Kumar Ganesh. It is also my absolute privilege to introduce this year's Supporter of the Arts Awards, Friend of the Arts Awards, and Patron of the Arts Awards recipients. Their names will be on the screen during the performance. And on behalf of the National Arts Council, the artists and the arts organizations who have benefited from your giving, I would like to say thank you once again for your invaluable contributions. Let's give a big round of applause for New Sound.
Shuttamum ashuttamum dukka sukha bedamum dondamudan nirtondamum stulamudu sukshmamum ஆசையும் நீராசையும் சொல்லும் ஒரு சொல்லின் முடிவும் சுத்தமும் அசுத்தமும் துக்க சுகபேதமும் தொந்தமுடன் நீர் தொந்தமும் ஸ்தூலமோடு சூக்ஷ்மமும் ஆசையும் நீராசையும் சொல்லும் ஒரு சொல்லின் முடிவும் பேதமோடு முக்தியும் பாவமோட பாவமும் வேதமோட வேத நீராயும் பேதமோடு முக்தியும் பாவமோட பாவமும் வேதமோட வேத நிலையும் பெருமையோடு சிறுமையும் அருமையுடன் எளிமையும் பெண்ணில் உடல் நானும் மற்றும் பெருமையோடு சிறுமையும் அருமையுடன் எளிமையும் பெண்ணில் உடல் நானும் மற்றும் ஈத்தமும் அநீத்தமும் அஞ்சன நிரஞ்சனமும் நீட்களமும் நிகழ் சகலமும் நீதியும் அநீதியும் ஆதியோட நாதியும் நீர்விடய விடய வடிவும் நீத்தமும் அநீத்தமும் அஞ்சன நீரஞ்சனமும் நீட்களமும் நிகழ் சகலமும் நீதியும் அநீதியும் ஆதியோட நாதியும் நீர்விடய விடய வடிவும்
Sushma and Lalit. What a soulful performance that was. And once again, thank you to all our supporter of the arts, friend of the arts, and patron of the arts recipients. Your generosity and belief in the arts and the power of the arts is really like a word of encouragement to all of the artists out there to keep going. The arts gives us joy and hope and wisdom, and this is especially important in a time like this. So thank you for giving our local talents the opportunity to shine and enabling more people to enjoy and appreciate creative expressions in the years to come. Our deepest gratitude for all your contributions. So in today's performances, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we have seen various art forms and practices having a conversation on a common stage. The multicultural links between the groups speak to Singapore's traditions, and the artistic processes of these collaborations is a journey of new inspirations. Just like how our art scene will continue to adapt and emerge stronger, cultural philanthropy has also evolved. Okay, this year we pay tribute to 264 patrons, 196 individuals, 68 organizations, and contributions of over $40 million over the past years. Beyond cash contributions, the awards also saw nearly 17 million in-kind donations, which is a substantial increase of 73% compared to the previous year. So thank you for giving us your time, your talent, and your treasures. I would now like to invite on stage Minister of State, Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, and Ministry of Trade and Industry, Ms. Lo Yen Ling, to present the awards to our recipients. We would now like to present the Distinguished Patron of the Arts Awards. First, we have Mr. Albert Chiu Sin Chun. Thank you very much, sir. From the Chris Foundation, Ms. Chris Tan Lei Peng. Thank you very much, ma'am. And representing himself and Mrs. Bola Lorene, Mr. Pierre Lorene. Thank you, sir. And representing the late Mr. Lim Yu Kwan, Madam Sue Cher. Thank you very much, ma'am. We would also like to thank and acknowledge the following individual Distinguished Patron of the Arts Awards recipients who are participating virtually with us today. Mr. Christopher Ho and Ms. Rosie Ho. Mr. and Mrs. Chu Chiao Bing. Ms. Go Tan Chu Ling. Mr. Go Yu Lin. Mr. Sim Wong Hu. Mr. Tang Wee Kit. Mr. Wu Xiu Kwang. Mr. Danny Yong from the Yong Hong Kong Foundation. We will now proceed to present the Distinguished Patron of the Arts Awards for organizations. Representing Accenture Singapore, Managing Director Mr. Deepak Iyer. Thank you very much. And representing JCDecaux Singapore, Creative Manager Ms. Elizabeth Liu. Thank you very much. And representing Singtel, Vice President, Group Strategic Communications and Brand, Ms. Lien Peik. Thank you very much. And representing United Overseas Bank Limited, Executive Director, Group Strategic Communications and Brand, Ms. Lillian Chung. Thank you very much. And they were not able to join us today, but we would still like to thank Maple Tree Investments. Thank you so much, Ms. Low, for presenting the trophies. Thank you very much. And with that, we have now come to the finale of today's performance. Now, last but certainly not least, this performance is a cross-cultural drum collaboration led by Drum Feng. They are a percussion ensemble that specializes in traditional Chinese classics and as well as cross-genre and experimental percussion works. I think they're coming up to set up soon. So they will be accompanied with traditional Malay drum beats with dabuka and rabana drums played by Ridwan Zalani, as well as drum rhythms from the Indian dole drums played by Daksha. All right, come on now. Are you guys ready for this? Are you ready for this? There's a lot of energy in this performance. Ladies and gentlemen, Drum Feng, Ridwan, and Daksha. Drumpung, Ridwan, and Daksha, ladies and gentlemen. Aptly named as New Energy, I feel like I'm so invigorated for the weekend ahead. What a diverse range of collaborative talents we've seen on this stage here today. This is all made possible by your generous giving and your unwavering support. And on behalf of the National Arts Council, on behalf of all the artists and the arts organizations, thank you once again. I don't think I can say thank you enough because this has been such a tough year for everybody. And I think all the artists and arts organizations are putting on such a brave face. And I just want you to know that they're still creating, they're still pushing, and there is still hope. And you know what? We cannot get through the dark times without the life-giving work of artists. In the coming years, it will be the arts that give us the capacity and the language to understand the tumultuous times that we're living in. And they are the ones who will help shine the light onto the future as well. And to all the artists among us, to all of our patrons, thank you for creating a place where the arts has a place in our home, our hearts, and our Singapore. So, 30 years of arts and culture so far. Who knows what the next 30 years will bring? And now we have come to the end of the performance, and I would like to say thank you so much for being with us here today. Thank you for those at home who have been tuning in. Your support means so much to us. And before we end today's ceremony, we would like to actually get some feedback from you because we want to see how we can improve future events. So we have a QR code up here. If you could just scan that and fill that in, that would be a great help to all of us. And also those at home, you can participate as well, okay? So just click on that link and go to fill up that survey for us. Thank you so much. Okay, I think everybody has got that. All right, and as health and safety still remains our top priority, we would like to first invite our Minister of State, Ms. Loh Yen Ling, Chairman Goh Swee Chen, and CE Mrs. Rosa Daniel, as well as our award recipients to proceed to the VIP room to collect your trophies and your gift of appreciation. Thank you so much for being here today. For the remaining guests, if you could please stay seated for the time being, we would deeply appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for your patience. You may now make your way to the left of the auditorium. Thank you so much. Thank you.